Hi everyone, it is Natasha, and if you're new to my videos and my channel, I do and share a lot of reviews, experiences, information, as much details as I can. So right now, hold on, it's a little, I'm not in the middle, it's weird. So for this particular video, I want to talk about my Louis Vuitton Rivington GM, and this is what it looks like. Side. This is the back. That's the right side. This is how it looks like in the bottom. There are no feet. It's not structured, and this is the top. So this was made in France. It has the heat stamp right here, right there. Made in France, and this was manufactured in the 34th week of the year 2011. I didn't get this bag until late in 2013. So I don't really use this bag very often because this strap drop is only 10.5 inches. And it's really kind of hard and frustrating for me to go in and out when I'm in my winter coat. All of my winter coats are fur. I think I have one faux fur, and I stuck with one because it's really bad for the environment. But it is one of my favorites though because it is so lightweight and beautiful. But anyway, let's not sidetrack to something else and let's focus on this one. Anyway, because with my particular preferences for my winter clothing, the down coats for me doesn't keep me warm. Wool I am allergic to, so my only choice for warmth was fur, and the faux fur sometimes isn't even as warm, so I have a lot of genuine fur. And they, if anybody has fur coats, it's thick. I mean, it does the job, but it's thick. So this is going to be kind of hard for me to use in the winter times, which is why I don't use it very often. I might try to use it in the fall, but you know what? I'm pregnant right now, and I'm due in September, and I don't know what's going to happen. For right now, I'm thinking I'll probably try and use this in the fall, but I have been really gravitating towards my Noe and my Speedy B 30. So I don't know. Okay, so back to the bag. I don't use this very often, and if you wonder why I have it, it's not like I'm hoarding it, or it's not like I just love building a collection. That's not the reason. This has a lot of sentimental value for me because my husband surprised me and just actually came up to me one day and said, and we were newlyweds at the time, and he just said, let's go Louis Vuitton one day and get your bag. And so because of that, I haven't let it go. I have been on the fence if I would. I have talked to him about it, and he just tells me, it's up to you, it's your bag. But to me, it has so many memories and a lot of sentimental value. So that's the only reason why I keep it. It's not the functionality of it. I used to really love damier bean print. I used to have a Trevi PM and a Chelsea. I will have a different video to dedicate the bags that I used to have and why I got rid of them and why I have changed the way I shop for my bags, especially for Louis Vuitton. And I am so grateful that I had an epiphany about that, and now I have changed the way I do it. So anyway, back to the bag. Let's see here. So it's going to be kind of hard to measure this just because it's not very structured and it kind of warped a little bit. So from seam to seam on the top, it is 2 3/4. It's going to be really hard for me to do it. Like it's going to be hard. I'm sorry. So the height from seam, and then the bottom doesn't have a seam, is 8.5 inches. These are all in inches, by the way, because I live in the United States of America and we use inches more. It's really kind of hard to get a metric measuring tape. I've done that before. So let's see. The bottom width is 7 inches. So it does taper from 2 3/4 to 7 inches. So it tapers a lot. It doesn't really look like it. See, it doesn't look like it, but it does. So seam to seam on the curve up here, I'm gonna do that too. That would be 5 1/4. There, you can see that. So the length, I'm going to do seam to seam on the bottom. It would be 11.5 to the dot. My experience with this, what I noticed and what I do remember I noticed right away was, you see this, there's a scratch on the heat stamp. I'm sorry, it shook. I don't know if you could see it right there. There it is. I got that within the first 2 months. Yeah, really fast. It's not like I went clubbing and brought this bag and was just dancing in the dance floor and someone just, you know, crazily scratched it. I mean, how could you even scratch it with the people around anyway? I don't know how I scratched it, but I did. The hardware is still pretty shiny. This is almost 4 years old that I've had it. And it's 5 years old, going on 6 from the date of manufacture. The pro of having the damier ebene print with the treated leather, you don't have to worry about staining and water spots. And if you don't like the patina process of the vachetta, there you go. I actually personally enjoy the patina process. I like it from the very fresh, brand new, super white. And the progression of it slowly getting darker and darker and darker. I like every single step of the way. So that's my personal preference. I love that because to me, it's like, I don't know if, to me, the way I'm going to compare it to, I have a lot of plants, house plants, and we're trying to grow a lot of plants outside. And I love the fact that I have a particular plant that I've started this big and probably dying 2 years later, and it is like this big. You know, to me, I take pride into that, and I feel the same way with the vachetta patina on all of my Louis Vuitton monogram with vachetta trim. That's how I see it. That's how I prefer it, and that's how I enjoy it. I know there are some people out there that either prefer the patina look or prefer the super brand new look and never want it to patina. I like both, in between, and every step of the way. I love it. I love that part. I think a lot of people lean towards the damier ebene for the fact that this can be 20, 30, 50 years old, and if you took really good care of it, if you are very good in taking care of your stuff, there is no specific look to it or changes that will make it look like it's old. When you do that with the Damier Azur and the monogram with the vachetta trim, because both have vachetta trim, what will happen is, even it's I mean, it takes a while, my personal experience, it takes a while for it to patina. However, when it does, you can actually tell that it has aged. Again, that is a personal preference, and some people, they don't like, they want it to still look brand new. You know, that's just their personal preference. To me, I mean, I still use my monogram prints regardless of the weather. I've used it with like a crazy amount of rain. My husband would drop me off in front of the door of a store, and when I go inside, my shirt is completely plastered. It's like someone just hosed me down, like a fireman hosed me down with that super crazy hose that they have. That's how much rain I've had experienced, and I would still use my monogram. I won't worry about it. But the reason I don't is, and I also have a different video for that on what I do with my monogram vachetta leather, which is why I don't worry about it. If you don't want to do the extra stuff that will protect your vachetta leather, and you really do just prefer to just go on and about, just so you know, from my personal experience and from observation and from a lot of trusted people like family and friends that do love the brand as well and have shared their info, this is not bulletproof, and you still have to condition, because leather is leather. If you don't know anything about leather, it wasn't until a few years ago, which made a lot of sense, that it doesn't matter where you got it from. It doesn't matter if it is an outlet store leather or a luxury brand leather or top grade leather or middle or bottom grade leather. Leather is leather, and it will always tend to crack at some point, and it will always tend to dry out. It doesn't matter if it's treated, untreated. Untreated would be the vachetta. It doesn't matter if it's dyed or whatever. When they call it treated leather, it's because the only untreated leather would be vachetta. Treated would be anything other than vachetta, if that makes any sense. So any kind of dyeing, any kind of other kind of treatment that they add on it to ensure waterproofing, to ensure stain prevention, to ensure certain things that they want to do in the leather. That's why most leathers in the market are weatherproof, due to what they put on there. So they do a little bit of treatment on there. I'm not particularly sure on exactly what they would be, but that's what they do. So what I do to prevent my Louis Vuitton treated leather, including the Damier Ebene, because I also do it for my epi leather, is I clean it. Especially if I have used it, I will do a quick run over with a clean rag from a leather cleaner, a regular leather cleaner. And again, just look in my other video on what I'm talking about. And don't use something like a saddle soap, because that will strip out all of the treatments that they have, or a huge tendency that will do. So don't do that. You're going to destroy your item. So I will do a quick once over, and it dries pretty quickly. After that, I will do the conditioner 1, 2, maybe 3 times the most, and I will let it air out for a little bit just to make sure, you know, it's not still moist or anything. I put it in their dust bag, and then I put it in my closet. And I do that minimum 3 times in a year. It could be a little bit more if I feel like I want to, just so it helps prevent from cracking. That's why this bag still looks really new. I did use this a lot. And when I do use it, I'm not the type of person that would change my bag every day. So when I have used it, I will use it continuously for like days, weeks, months at a time. It's just because the strap drop is only 10.5. It really is kind of hard for me to go on my shoulder and off. And I'll do the mod shot right now. I'm 5'5" for reference, and I am pregnant, so that's why I have a little bit of a belly. So this is what it looks like in the front. It does look pretty big, doesn't it? Yeah. And this is what it looks like on the side, right there. And this is what it looks like from behind. Yeah, I do have like a little bit of room. So I can, you know, maybe, who knows, maybe in the fall, maybe I'll try to wear in the winter. But usually when I wear this, I wear it like this, like that. I don't really like doing it this way. It also hurts the crook of my arm a lot. It actually hurts the crook of my arm more than if I put it on my shoulder. The biggest problem I really have about this bag is because the straps is treated leather. It's very stiff. It's very hard. To me, from my experience, every time I use this bag, I have incredibly horrible red marks. And it will last me days, 4 or 5 days. And when it gets so bad, especially when my husband sees it, he gets very concerned. That's when I just go, okay, it's time to switch my bag. So, even when I'm wearing a coat, it will still do that. It will still do that. This is why this is my last damier bean print. Let me just show you the inside. So this is what the inside looks like. It has one big pocket. And the inside, the lining over here is the red textile. It's so beautiful right there. And this has some kind of a plastic coating, I think. It's very thin coating, just to kind of prevent any kind of staining on there. The date code is way, way in the bottom, right over here. So it's gonna be really hard for you to see it. So I'm not even gonna try to do that. It's gonna be so difficult. It was even very difficult for me to look at it without having to face any camera, and I had to use a flashlight just to see, just so I could tell you when it was made. Because I think that's the first time I ever tried to look for the date code and read the date code. It's just because I never really cared about it until I was doing all these videos, and until I was a part of, or I'm a part of this Facebook group called Louis Vuitton Addicted, Buy and Sell. And a lot of people have routine showing date codes and stuff. And sometimes for reference, I will dig in my bags or my other items and try to find the date code to kind of help these other people that are inquiring if the item that they're looking at is authentic or not. So that's really the only time. And obvious, I don't know if it's obvious, but to me, I don't find the reason for me to look for the date code because it comes from the store. I think a lot of people want to look at the date code due to wanting to know the authenticity because it's probably a pre-loved item and they're buying it from someone they don't know. So that's my personal opinion. I don't really know if there might be other people out there that, you know, love knowing when it was made, where it was made and stuff like that. I didn't really know that my bag was made in France until today, because I wanted to show the heat stamp. And just to let you know, because a lot of people, especially people who have never owned Louis Vuitton, it's not always perfect. And I can show you right now. Look at the stitching. It's not that perfect. Because I remember I was talking to someone about it before, and they were talking about something about they can tell a fake bag like a mile away. Just the stitching and all that stuff. And then I remember I was talking to her about it, and I'm like, it's not perfect, you know. It's not gonna come out like completely perfect, no matter if it's Louis Vuitton or not. So just be aware of that. So the biggest reason I have for a Damier Ebene print is I feel like the treated leather is just it's just uncomfortable for me. It's actually painful for me to use. I also after experiencing it and doing extensive research, I do have a video about that. At some point, like this, it already has started to fade. Right there, it already started to fade, and that is the normal. Even with really gentle usage of Damier Ebene, it will eventually fade. That is the nature of Damier Ebene. That is also the nature of Damier Azur as well as Damier Graphite. It doesn't happen with Louis Vuitton. I'm sorry, it doesn't happen with Monogram. It's the reason for that is it's because it's a damier format, which means checkerboard in French. And so whatever is the darker color of the two, that would be the base. But for Damier Ebene, the base is actually black, not dark brown. For Damier Azur, it's blue. For Damier Graphite, it is black as well. So with wear and tear, let's just say I've been using this bag for 5 years and I just keep using it, and there are going to be certain parts that will be rubbed, even if it's very softly and gently. It will slowly peel off the layers of a color, and that particular part will get darker and darker until it's completely black. You will notice that probably more on wallets, especially on wallets that fold. The spine, that's where you're gonna see a lot of wear and tear. So that's another reason. I feel that the treated leather of the Damier Ebene is very, very high maintenance and very, very like sensitive. In all of my Vachetta, from my experience, it doesn't scratch very fast. I do preventative methods to make sure and ensure longevity, better quality of life for my Vachetta leather. I do condition it constantly, and it doesn't really scratch that fast. So that's also another downfall. To me, I think to me, it's just, I love the monogram print. It's very iconic, and to me it's very versatile. It's very like I can dress it up. I can, just be an everyday casual occasion. I could also take it to like a formal event. To me it's just the most versatile print, and I wear it every day in any season. I don't have to worry about it matching. But that's my personal preference, and that's my personal opinion. I'm pretty sure there are other people out there that, think maybe the Damier Azur, they wear it all year round, and that, and that's their bag, and that's their choice, and that's their personal preference. But for me, my favorite print has returned back to the monogram print. I did go through a lot, and I went through in which I was so worried using the monogram. I was scared of being mugged and attacked, and just negative effect to it. So I was very careful on where and when I used it. Someone, like a friend of mine, told me, because she goes, I prefer that print, the Damier Ebene. When she saw my bag, she goes, I prefer that print because it's not as out there as the monogram, because a lot of people, I think, have a lot of replica or fake monogram, she said. And when she said that, a light bulb just turned on in my head. And I'm like, well, if people probably around here where I relocated, or a lot of people do believe that there's a higher tendency if you're wearing a Louis Vuitton monogram that it might be a replica or fake, then they think it's probably like $50 or less. So I'm not, all my worries about being mugged just like went out the window. I think the very next, that night, I changed my bag to one of my monograms, and then I've just fallen in love with it all over again. And that's also another reason why I prefer the monogram now. Another little information tidbit. I saw this in some kind of a investigation show or like it wasn't a documentary, like a news investigation show, that apparently lately this is the #1 best-selling print for Louis Vuitton, the Damier Ebene. Just because it doesn't really fit with my body and my lifestyle, and not my preference anymore. What I can say is that this bag is very beautiful, and to be quite honest, if you see this in person, it is more beautiful than you see it in a video or you see it in a picture. It really is one of those bags that me personally, it just took my breath away. It is it's very, very beautiful. It's not very common. It was only out there for a few years, and it has been discontinued, which is the term that Louis Vuitton people always tell me. Discontinued, or you can also call it retired. So if you do like this or want to have one in your collection or in your possession, I would suggest go to the pre-love market, and I will try to do a video about that as well. I do have very little experience in that, but I can help you on what to look for and what to watch out, and what to make sure you have, like a little checklist on what you're going to ask or look for or expect, as well as what to look out for so that you won't be scammed. So here it is, the Louis Vuitton Rivington GM, and I almost forgot, this does come with 2 zipper pulls, and in the end it has the tweeted leather for Damier Ebene, and it is so beautiful. It is very, very stiff, and that is just the nature of the tweeted leather for Damier Ebene. The gold hardware is still really shiny. Maybe the zipper not as shiny as the zipper pull. The I don't know what these are called, the square parts that, you know, kind of attach and give a little bit of design from this design here to the strap. It's still pretty shiny. The only issues I have for the hardware are the bottom round buttons. That's really it. So I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope it gave you as much information as you wanted out of it. If you enjoyed my video, I hope you give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, comments, or if you just want to say hi, all comments are welcome. And hopefully they're all positive. Let's keep a very positive outlook. And the best part of it is, if you want to subscribe to my channel, I would be very, very, very happy about that. So thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for giving me the time to watch my video. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.